Okay. First of all, 100 thanks for coming and watching. Thank you for sending pluses. Great, it means you hear me. You hear me very well. Fantastic. Thank you. Okay. So shall we proceed to our discussion? Okay. Okay, so to begin with, my name is Kate. I am a teacher at Moscow State Pedagogical University. I teach at the department called Institute of International Education. Well, I am an advocate of communicative approach, which means that my students learn English through speaking, through speaking. I try to use a great variety of different resources, such as educational games, podcasts, YouTube videos as well, and so on and so forth. And I actually believe that learning a language lies through pleasure. When you do something which is really entertaining, engaging, for you particularly, it works and you progress faster. Well, my students tend to claim the same. They say they like the approach. They say it helps them to enlarge and enrich their vocabulary. It helps them to speak English more fluently. And that is why I'm here. I'm here to share several life hacks with you on how to improve your English with pleasure. Of course, having only PC, an internet connection, well, and that's it. Yeah, the language internet connection PC, no teachers, no tutors to guide you and to monitor you, no scores, no home assignment to motivate you to work, just you, the language, and PC. And specifically today, the discussion is focusing on one skill, and this is listening. You'll say, what? Come on, listening, that's easy. Well, not sure. You know, they say that listening is the hardest skill to master. Let me explain why. So when you read, you have some kind of visual support, right? When you write, you have some time to organize your ideas. You have some time to consult the dictionary, consult teachers. When you speak, well, it may be tricky, it may be challenging, of course, but still you are in charge. You control the situation. You create this speech, right? So you can choose whatever vocabulary you want, either simple or more sophisticated one. You can use grammar, the one which you feel familiar with and you feel comfortable with. So more or less, you control the situation. That's not the same with listening. While other people speak and you have to decode their message to understand the ideas they are speaking out, it may be tricky because, first of all, people tend to use the vocabulary, completely different one, the one that you may be unfamiliar with. They use different speed, different accents, intonations, grammar structures, and that might be very challenging. Actually, in listening, you don't have an opportunity just to make a pause, come back to the previous sentence, and think about it for 5, 10, 15 minutes. No, it doesn't work like this. Well, of course, there is some kind of instrument like questions. Excuse me, I'm not quite sure that I got your idea, or could you please repeat? Of course, you can say so, but, well, frankly speaking, you cannot ask for clarification and repetition 100 of times, right? Or you risk to be considered a kind of a idiot. So yeah, that is tricky. However, I think that I'm not that persuasive and you still think that listening is not that hard. In this case, I am suggesting you taking part in some kind of experiment. An experiment with Reese Witherspoon. 100 to 1, you have seen her in several American movies. She's a popular American actress. And I would actually let you listen to a small, just a tiny phrase of her interview at the Ellen Show. Probably some of you also are acquainted with the show. Some of you watch it or not. So here is the phrase, which starts with a small part. This is weird, she says. And there is like something else. So could you please take a piece of paper and a pen? whatever level you are, either you are a beginner, intermediate, or advanced, just take a piece of paper and a pen. Okay, 5 seconds to find something to write in. It can be your gadget, why not? Like Messenger, in VK, send the message to yourself. It works. Okay, ready? So I'm going to switch on the phrase. Here we go. Try to put it down. Several words, and all of them are actually familiar to you, whatever level you are.
This is weird. Yeah. So it was actually kind of cool to call my mom.
Yeah? How was it? Shall we try once again? So she says, this is weird, and then something. Try to listen to it once again.
This is weird. Yeah. So it was actually kind of cool to call my mom.
The third one, okay? Just to be on the safe side.
This is weird. Yeah. So it was actually kind of cool to call my mom.
Okay, so what was that? That's a tricky thing, right? Okay, shall I show you the answer? She said, this is weird. So it was actually kind of cool to call my mom. Shall we compare the written version and the spoken one once again?
This is weird. Yeah. So it was actually kind of cool to call my mom.
Tricky, right? Well, if you managed to put it down, well, congratulations, because you have an ear of advanced level of English. Perfecto. However, it seems to me that the majority of English learners might find it too difficult. And you know why? The problem is that even if you have an advanced or upper intermediate level of spoken and written language, you might have the listening skill of a level lower. You know why? Well, just because you think that listening is too simple, so it's just pointless to train it. It's just like a waste of time to train it because it's too simple. Just coming back to Reese Witherspoon, she's an American. And they say that American English is much simpler than the British one because they have to articulate the sounds in a more distinctive way. So they have clear pronunciation, like R and all that stuff. They have the clearer pronunciation than the British people. And the problem is that during your state exam, you have a listening part, which is mainly consists of British speakers. That is a challenge, which means that we have to do what? We have to adapt our ear, we have to train it for British accent. Yeah, whether we want it or not. Of course, some of you have the priority of American accent because, well, I'm going to just like leave this country and like work in Google or something. Well, yeah, however, just to like overcome this border, like state exam, you need the British accent and you need to adapt to British English. So today I'm going to share some instruments with you, but before I would like just like to make a final spot on listening, why it is important and why it's so fun to train listening. So trying listening really is really entertaining. It's really exciting to do. About all language skills, this is the like most entertaining, which actually doesn't require any control from teachers and tutors. So you don't need any scoring system to like develop your listening, right? And it actually doesn't take much time. As for writing and speaking, you have to focus or you have to find some interlocutor, I mean the partner to speak, for instance, or you need some piece of paper and some structure and like model. Here, you don't have anything. You don't like need anything. Only you and PC, for instance. Okay, so it doesn't take much time. You can do it like while jogging, walking the dog, taking a shower, cleaning your teeth, whatever, and even staying in bed. You can train your listening. The only thing here is that to get considerable progress, you need to make listening your daily practice, your habits, your routine, okay? So if you like ask me whether it's possible to level up listening for 2 months, well, as it's stated in the title, I say, yeah, it's possible. However, these 2 days should be about daily practice. 60 days of daily practice of listening. So the most interesting part is coming. The web resources you can use to train your ear. Here we go. Before we proceed to it, just like a small overview. I will start with the least time-consuming activities which you can take on a daily basis, and they will take not more than 3 or 5 minutes. And I will proceed to more complicated and complex things, the longer ones, which can take like an hour or 2. Okay, so the first one, if you are a music lover, that's a common thing today, common thing for to love music. So I suggest you go into lyricstraining.com. Having registered there, or it actually doesn't work, it works without registration as well. So you can choose the level of difficulty like beginner, intermediate, or advanced. And then you can listen to a song and print in the missing words in its lyrics. Let's see how it works. Okay, I have already found something which is really interesting for me, the song which I actually like. So what we can see the video. Yeah, and we can see the lyrics here. And there is a kind of 3 dots. So shall we try it? I saw you in another zone. Okay, and the system makes an automatic pause. So then you can actually put down the phrase, and if it's correct, it lets you go further. It's not, you can actually replay this small episode once again to catch it correctly, okay? However, you have some kind of limit, you see, time limit for each and every gap. If you run out of time, sorry, game's over. Okay, the next one is called Tube Quizart. This site has not only actually the collection of songs, it has a huge collection of YouTube videos. So you can play any video you like, with any topic you like, and just like while listening, fill the gaps with the subtitles, okay? Let's see how it works. I have chosen Warcraft, I don't know why, I'm not a great fan, but still.
So, this is home now. Home. So, this is home now.
Yeah. So you see, the system helped me to stop and to re-listen once again automatically, and you can actually check it yourself. So this is the next one. Here we go. Yep. So the previous site has a huge collection, as I said, but unfortunately not all the videos are subtitled there with these gaps, wonderful checking and stops. But probably you can find something interesting in the first source, which is YouTube. What I'm talking about is if you are a great fan of makeup and cosmetics, find some blogger, like beauty vlogger, and subscribe him or her. Find something which is interesting to you. If you are fond of cooking, okay, find some British blogger who is giving some recipes, like Jamie Oliver. If you are fond of the world and like biology, chemistry, physics, find something which suits your interests, which appeals to you. One of the ideas is it's okay to be smart. Okay, if you're fond of singing, why not? The X Factor UK version is for you. You can also actually go to the rubrics by the Late Late Show with James Corden. It's called Karaoke Carpool. They also sing with different pop stars, have some nice short chats, which is also about pop culture. If you are into it, okay, go on with it. So the basic thing is to find something which is interesting for you. If you like games, okay, find different gamers who like give the casting, right? Who show the screen while watching and give some comments. Why not? You like dancing, the same. Okay, so that's it for more or less short things. That's it for YouTube as well. And now I'd like to proceed to more like extended listening sessions, right? When I'm talking about this is actually TV shows and films. Of course, you know such kind of media services as Oka, EV, Kinopoisk, Netflix. But the problem here that they have a huge collection and you never know what is really worth watching. So just to save you some time, I have created a really small, like a tiny must-see list with nice series and films. Some of them probably are familiar to you. So the first one is created by Netflix. It's called Black Mirror. It's a science fiction. Narrates about people of the future and how technology are affecting us in our life. Well, here in Institute of International Education, we actually watch this series with our students and they find it quite interesting. Well, what this series has actually, like in particular, it suggests a nice range of conversations, extremely interesting ones. It suggests a huge collection of wonderful vocabulary items. And moreover, it gives you an exposure, like exposes you to different accents. And actually different accents of British kind. You know that British accent is not universal. I mean, even in the United Kingdom, there are people who talk with different accents and have different peculiarities in their pronunciation. Like people living in the South sound different from those living in the North. So this series is a wonderful source for getting acquainted, like, and being familiarized with a wonderful world of accents. The next thing is called Sherlock with Benedict Cumberbatch. This is a classic thing, 100 to 1, you have seen at least one episode. And now it's high time to watch it in English, why not? What is special about it? Vocabulary, of course. Vocabulary and accents. They also have different representatives from different parts of the UK. So it also helps to get acquainted with the accents. However, the major thing here is the thrilling plot. This story, which is really exciting and thrilling. So feel free to have at least one episode watched. However, there is a problem with Sherlock. At first, it might sound a bit complicated. I mean, it may be very difficult for listening comprehension, but please don't be scared away, okay? It's a normal practice when you listen to something authentic and you might understand or like something like 30 or 40%, or if you're not lucky, 10% only pronounced. Well, it works, but that's not a big deal. That is a common case, okay? Just watch it. Even if you don't understand anything at all, just watch it and get your ear adapted to it, okay? The next one, and the last actually in the series, is called Peep Show. Peep Show. Yeah, what is it? This is a comedy show narrating about two men in their 30s living together. Something illegal, right? No, actually nothing serious and nothing illegal. Well, they face different adventures, and the case here is actually that the language is very simple. The language is simple, comprehensible, understandable, and up to date, which is very important when the language is modern, yeah? So feel free to get acquainted with this wonderful TV comedy as well. So I have already shared with you some interesting things to watch, but where you can watch them. Of course, it can be in the YouTube, yeah, but it's not about the TV shows, right? Here are some resources for you. So the first one is Netflix and netflixparty.com. So the only thing with Netflix is that they suggest 30 days free trial period. After that, you have to pay €8. Well, still, it's not a problem. Like, for the nearest like 1 year, 1 month, you can work with Netflix as well. Netflix Party, what is the difference between Netflix and Netflix Party? In Netflix Party, you can actually watch the film together with your friends online, having some kind of discussion, like online party, watching some films. That might be a great way in today's situation, like the way out. So several more sites which provide films for free, just like on the every time basis. Flickstore.to, fanserials.auction. Here you can watch films without any payments on the daily basis, right? And the last thing, which is like at the fingertips, yeah, which is very close. You don't have to go somewhere to log in, which is something which you know, like by your daily practice. This is VK. VK community called Movies in English, or Film на английском субтитры, also suggest a huge collection of different movies with subtitles. If I'm not mistaken, they suggest them in Russian, like the subtitles, but that's not a problem. You can like either watch them with subtitles and rely on the subtitles, or you can just like close the screen like that, like halfway, yeah, and enjoy the movie in original. Okay, so coming back to what I've started with, in today's situation, you have some lack of practice, right? It's a very challenging thing. It's very difficult to practice your language with teachers or classmates. And that is why it's more than important to create this environment, I mean language environment, in your flat. It's very important to do this. How can you do this? Obvious. You can listen to native speakers. Listening to native speakers is extremely important when you learn any language. First of all, because you learn up-to-date vocabulary, you get acquainted with the language of today's, and you don't risk to speak as like Queen Victoria, for instance, okay? So it's really nice to know how the words are named, how the objects are named in today's English, and not in the obsolete, in the old days English. The second one, you get your ear adapted to native intonations. You think, why it's important? What's that? I mean, in Russian, it's not a problem. And that is the trick. So in Russian, we actually don't pay much attention to intonations. It's not the means, it's not the instrument of how we pass the message. And that is why when like foreigners listen to Russian people speaking Russian, they hear something like blah, 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 blah. While Americans and British speak English, the intonation picture is something like blah, 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 blah. And it makes us funny, and it makes us like, I don't know, scared a bit. But that is how they actually like pass their message through. That is one of the major instruments they use to pass the message. And this is intonation. And if you want to speak in a more native-like manner, you need to adapt the intonation. Moreover, you need to adopt it and try to imitate it. That is why in the Institute of International Education, we have an American teacher who gives each and every week lessons to our students, and they have some kind of language environment here and now. We also host different professors and teachers from different countries in Europe, and they also bring their peculiarities. They also bring their lovely accents here, and it makes our students acquainted with the wonderful world of accents. Of course, you don't have such kind of opportunity so far. However, you can create it, as I said, you can create it in your home. So the basic recommendation is when you watch some like bloggers or movies, feel free, if possible, to make a stop and try to repeat the phrase that you have just heard. Try to imitate it. And that will help you to improve your pronunciation and to become someday someday to become a native speaker, almost a native speaker. Okay. It seems to me that for improving listening, that's it. However, tomorrow, one of my colleagues will share some information about listening parts of the Russian state exam. She will share some secrets and life hacks on how to cope with the listening part successfully. So you're welcome to join her in this conversation. And probably in the end, I would like you to, of course, you liked some ideas. I hope so. Of course you liked. And I would like you to try something today already, just tonight, right? In this evening. So could you please scan the QR code and vote for the digital resource you really liked, the digital resource I shared, actually. I shared, and the one that you actually liked and you would like to try it just tonight. Yeah, already today. Okay, have you scanned it? For those who actually don't have an opportunity to scan, in a couple of seconds, I will send you the link in our messenger, in our chat, for you to be able to follow the link and to vote as well. You can choose only one option, the one which like appeals to you most. Okay, hope that's for QR. It's fine. Here is the link for those who need it. I have already some results. So which instruments for training listening are you going to try today? Lyrics training, tube quizad, check YouTube. Well, I will check YouTube and find something interesting for me, yeah, appealing to me. The Black Mirror series, Sherlock, Peep Show, or I will just go to one of the media services and like VK Community, for instance, and find some interesting animated film or the movie. I have 30 votes. $35. So the majority prefers lyrics training. It's like not very time consuming, so I'll deal with that, right? Okay. Sherlock. It seems to me that some of you already are already familiar with Sherlock. That's why you think, why shouldn't I try it in English? So I'm making Sherlock more popular. Probably we will wait for several voters more and make a stop here. So Sherlock is winning. So check YouTube. Cool. So Sherlock and lyrics training are the winners, right? And it's a nice idea to go to some media service and find something interesting for you, of course. Okay, Sherlock. Sherlock is a great resource, but just be really watchful, because facing some challenges at the start, it can be a bit demotivating. Please don't give up. Okay, don't give up. Even if you don't understand a part of the episode, that's just fine. That's just fine. It is worth doing. Even if you just understand the word Sherlock. Sherlock, where are you going? Okay, 13. Fantastic. Thank you very much for participating. That's it for listening. I think that now I would be ready to answer your questions. What do you think? If you have some, in terms of listening, of course, in terms of some digital resources. Just one more time. For the listening practice, I mean, the listening part in the Russian state exam, you will have the webinar, the workshop, tomorrow. So the questions. Okay, shall I do it probably like this? Well, actually, in here you can find them. What do you think? Just a second. H lyrics training, cube quiz art, and several things to watch. Black Mirror, Sherlock, Peep Show, and some websites where you can find the films available for free. At what time tomorrow? I suppose it's going to be 4 p.m. if I'm not mistaken. But please consult the schedule, okay? Do you like Doctor Who series? Well, I would say I'm not that keen on that. I'm into supernatural more, and the Westworld, by the way. Do you like do you play the, how do you know that? Do you play the guitar? It's a bit out of topic. You said to watch some English films. How about the Knives Out? I actually not quite sure that I'm acquainted with it, but this is a nice thing probably to learn. What do you think? I will find out. The Knives Out. Okay, we'll put it down. Knives Out. I find it's interesting. What kind of accent do they have there? Is it American production or British one? Do you watch Sherlock? Well, of course, I do, but I find it a bit challenging. I find it a bit challenging even in like native English, in native language. I mean Russian. Thank you very much. Have a nice 16 For English, Doctor or Sherlock? Well, it seems to me that in Doctor, not quite sure, but what kind of Doctor? You mean Doctor Who? Not quite sure about Doctor Who. They're completely like different. However, I think that Doctor Who is also rich of wonderful vocabulary which you can get acquainted with. Peaky Blinders. Is it good or not? Peaky Blinders. Haven't watched as well. Well, you know, the point here is that you have to range the series in terms of your inner feelings. Why I actually recommended Peep Show, because they have a simple language. So better when you just like on the first step of getting acquainted with authentic listening, it's better to start with something more trivial, okay? Something that is not very sophisticated in vocabulary. My favorite English blogger actually is not narrating about some, you know, dancing or beauty or makeup. I actually like ETJ English. Of course, he's talking about English. However, he's like focusing on pronunciation, which I actually like and working over. What is your favorite English film? It's a hard thing to say. I actually, well, my recent favorites are the Westworld. This is a series, it's not a film. This is a series like TV show. And probably, so you need a film. It's a tricky for me. It's a tricky question for me. I wouldn't say that I have only one. There is a great like collection of things. Favorite English, Do you recommend to watch Supernatural in original? I do recommend to watch Supernatural in original, but after your state exam, just to relax and have some pleasure. Why? Because Supernatural is an American like accent in American English, and that is, well, just like evaluating your priorities for the like nearest several months. This is not the best thing to choose. How can I focus on listening well? Listening, I mean, start with lyrics training, for instance.com. How can I improve my English level over the summer? That is what I said, actually. So each and every day, take some time for the listening practice. It doesn't take much. However, it's going to bring you like great results, I mean, yeah? Great results. So each and every day, listen to some song and fill the gaps. You think, well, it's trivial. No, it's not. When you do it on a daily basis, your ear is getting adapted. It's like the muscles, you know, like in your gym. When you train on the daily basis and there is a kind of a system, you see the transformation in your body. Well, not in a week, not in two. However, it works. Oh, thanks. Is it okay that in English films, voices sound a lot more quiet than a background music? It's fine. This is a trivial thing. We know in Russian, when we watch something in Russian, we never pay attention to it just because we feel quite fine with our language. However, when we see, like, we watch something in like British or American, it seems to us that the background music sounds a bit louder and the voices like are a bit down. It's okay, but if you struggle with this, switch on subtitles in original. I mean, not the translation, but the original. It works as well. It doesn't prevent you from progressing if you switch on English subtitles, because you still are adapting to the intonations and pronunciation. That is the major thing we are focusing on. What do you think about this series, Friends? Friends, American. They are American. Well, that's fine. A lot of teachers are actually keen on Friends. There are lots of bloggers who take the pieces, small parts, episodes from Friends and have some kind of analysis of the language. They have nice vocabulary, but in terms of training the ear for British pronunciation, like by the examination, it doesn't work. In summer, yeah, it's just awesome. I tried to watch Sherlock twice and it's very hard. I don't understand some. That is the point, you see? It can be demotivating when you're like, I tried it twice, I tried it thrice. Don't try. Just switch on and start doing something. Like start doing some chores. I mean, cleaning the windows, cleaning your carpets, something like that. And your brain will subconsciously just catch different sounds and different intonations, okay? And create this kind of nature, a small world of English in your head. Harry Potter, of course, this is a classic one. Sorry for like forgetting this. Of course, Harry Potter is one of the wonderful things you could work with. Harry Potter has nice, simple language, and they actually do not hurry up. By the way, the level of speech, I mean the sound level when we talk about the background music and the sound of the speakers is moderate, yeah? What about subtitles? I should watch TV shows with Russian subtitles or English. So here comes the question, whether Russian subtitles or English one. So first of all, what we have to cover is your level of English. If you're a beginner, even actually beginners can watch something in original, something authentic, yes, something genuine. I mean TV shows like Friends, if you mind. Okay, you can. But it may be safer for you, less demotivating when you have some support in your native language. I wouldn't say that it is like at the same level of efficiency. I mean, it's useful to the same extent that watching without any subtitles or in English? Well, it's completely different, you know, because you are using them for completely different purposes. When you're a beginner and you're watching something in order to just get acquainted with the language, just like get some kind of habit of listening, it's a one matter. If you like use series and TV shows on your like upper, intermediate, or advanced level, it's a bit different thing, right? And here, I would recommend using the English ones. What resources can I find native speakers in? You mean where you can actually talk to different natives? The first thing that comes to your mind is like italki. Italki has a lot of tutors which gets money for this, but at the same time, they have a free community where you can chat to different people who learn languages. Okay, I think that I've answered the question on English subtitles, so use them. It's just a great help. It's a great support. And if you watch Sherlock and if you need some support and some, you know, something that prevents you from giving up, this is actually about subtitles. But don't over rely on them. It's a nice thing to have some gaps, you know. It's like when you're listening to the conversation and you understand that like only 30% or 35 or something about it is clear to you. It's just fine. Please do not stop and start reading the subtitles, then searching for the translation in Google. That will spoil all the pleasure. I started to learn English with Dan and Phil YouTube channel. Do you know them? Thank you for Dan and Phil. Get acquainted with them. So you see, this is a kind of experience exchange, not only me who gives the speech here. Thank you very much. Dan and Phil, guys. Katya is recommending Dan and Phil. Should I write down some unknown words while watching Sherlock? I did so. But the problem here, when you watch Sherlock, this is going to be a routine when you start, like, make pauses in each and every phrase and put it down. Well, not like this. Just try to be very picky, you know? Okay, there is a huge mass of unknown words, but I will skip them. Oh, this one is very interesting. I will pick it and put it down in my dictionary or like glossary. Why not? But be very picky, not each and every one, okay? Let it be, if you need some precise number, let it be not more than 10 words per series, per episode, okay? If you do more, it means that you didn't get any pleasure from watching. My last film I watched in English, this is a series. That's why I'm talking about the West World, because I'm watching it. The West World, this is a series. Did you watch Stranger Things? I have several episodes. Of course it does. What does it mean? Like, does it worth rewatching? That's what that was my like main message here. Please watch something which appeals to your interests. If you like Stranger Things, let it be rewatching. Let it be rewatching in original. Is it a good idea to rewatch in English what you have watched in Russian? Yeah. The answer is like total yeah. Why? You know how it sounds in English, you know how it sounds in Russian, sorry. You know how it sounds in your native language, and now you are not struggling with this. So your background knowledge is a kind of a support for you. It's just great. It's just great. I watched the Stranger Things in the original, and I think it's worth. How long did it take you to speak English like that? Ooh, don't make me think about my age. However, it depends. You know, I know several people, the students who actually entered our university, who had some kind of intermediate level 6 months ago, and in 6 months they came, passed the entrance examination, and then entered master degree program. And I was like, how is it possible? They say this is discipline. Each and every day, well, this person actually is fond of training. I mean, different dreams, exercises, and so on and so forth. And when you look at him and you say, yeah, this person is built up by the discipline. The same can be said about his language competence. When he starts speaking and you, like, in your background, you know, well, several years ago, he didn't know English at all. And now, whew, cool. How long did, Have you ever watched Sauce? Yeah. Sauce is one of the, let me put down here. This is one of the bloggers that they speak on the world. Yeah. Also chemistry, biology, also psychology, philosophy. So this is a person who likes almost each and every aspect of our life. And he is speaking in a wonderful language, which is simple and comprehensible. Every time I watch him, it's like 50% out of me, yeah? It can be so, but that's not the problem, you see? That's not a problem. 50% is a result. If you struggle, switch on the subtitles in YouTube. It works here. Like, switch on the subtitles and it's gonna be of help. What about the web resources? Web resources. Just a second. If I'm not mistaken, the moderator sent you the message that you will get all the presentations and you will be able to see them once again. And actually, there will be the recording of the web, so it's not a problem. TV shows and series both work. They both work for British. Americans sometimes say serials. Outlander, I've heard of it. You know, my great problem is that I'm keen on something old, something I have already watched. So as for series and TV shows, I'm not that sophisticated, you mean? You said translating unknown words will ruin pleasure, but what do I have to do if I see something new? I mean, do I have to try to guess what they say using context? I didn't say that translating words is a bad practice. I said that translating all unknown words is a bad practice. So if you find some interesting word which is unknown, unfamiliar to you, and you are eager to know, you can find some extra information in dictionaries. As for guessing in the context, that is actually the basic instrument you should use when you watch some movies. By the way, this is the only thing that you can do while watching. I mean, guessing out of the context. This is a great thing because, well, when you watch some songs, yeah, you don't have the visual context. When you see the movie, you have the situation. And within this situation, there are lots of hints and clues for you to deduce the meaning of the lexical items or how complicated that it was said. Okay, let it be in a more simple way. You see the situation, you see the faces, the expressions of people. Are they sad? Are they happy? And you try to guess the meaning, and it works. And it works for you. What web resources can be used to better prepare for the exam? You mean all aspects of English or only listening? This is the last question from Andrei. What web resources can be used to better prepare? Only listening. I didn't actually share it with you, this resource. Just a second, I will check. Does it have the dash? ESL Lab. ESL Lab. It's called esl-lab.com. It's a wonderful resource which helps you to prepare for the exam. Of course, I'm not talking about FIPI. It goes without saying and taken for granted that you know FIPI, right? Still, if you need the link, let me know. But here is a wonderful resource, esl-lab.com, which works like that. So what we can see here is a like range, easy, intermediate, or difficult blocks. Let's choose something like intermediate, okay? View quizzes, and it has a collection of quizzes. How do they look like? So they introduce you to the topic. They give some idioms or some vocabulary items that may be of use. Then they have a recording you may listen to, and they have a test. It's similar to the state exam form, but still not the same. However, it helps you to get the meaning out of the context. So yeah, maybe a bit easy for those who take the examination. So probably take the last block, which is difficult. And that's going to be really great. And they also have some follow-up activities after the multiple choice. If I'm not mistaken, yes, our webinars will be constantly accessible and available on YouTube. Only in case of apocalypses, they will be removed from YouTube. Forever, they will be there forever. This is the clue for immortality. Make the webinar and then live forever. That's the end. Bye. Okay. Bye. Thank you, guys. Thank you for watching, for patience, for being the last and the best in this chat. You see it in my screen? Thank you guys. Thank you as well. As for Nearport, I'm not quite sure that you can see it in my screen. Where did you see it? Where did you see it? Thank you. Thank you. Ah, I got it. Yeah, you've seen it. Well, actually, I'm in the process of like monitoring it. So probably next time when we see in our workshop, I will share some life hacks and secrets on working with Nearport. What do you think? Yeah. So I'm starting working over this side. Okay, it seems that I've answered all the questions. Yeah, so goodbye. Thank you once again.